It's been said that being a parent is the most thankless and difficult job there is. While the role of a parent may be rewarding and satisfying to many people, often others find that their inability to cope is a major problem. Excessive stress, isolation, or their own personal history present obstacles that are very difficult to overcome in terms of successful parenting. With me now is Joe Rosen, Executive Director of BC Parents in Crisis Society. We will be discussing common problems of parenting and why you may be an ineffective parent. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Can you tell us who is a parent in crisis, aside from one dealing with a child's temper tantrum?
Well, in the context of our organization, we're a child abuse prevention program, and we will welcome into our program any parent that has any of the risk factors for abuse, any parent who finds parenting stressful, any parent who has been abused themselves as a child, any parent who's needing the kind of support that everybody needs in order to cope with the day-to-day stresses of parenting.
Are there a lot of members, a lot of parents?
Well, at any given time, province-wide in our organization, we're seeing about 300 parents a week.
Wow. Yeah. So you provide counseling, do you, or how does it work?
What we do is we run a network of self-help groups for parents. Our groups are all run by volunteers, and the role of our volunteers is to run a weekly self-help group meeting so that parents have an opportunity to talk to each other, to feel like there are other people around that understand what they're going through, who may have experienced some of the same kinds of things, just to give people a sense that they're not alone, that they don't need to be isolated, and that there are other people there who can be there for them.
So in the group, do people kind of counsel each other, or is there a paid counselor there to give advice, for instance?
Oh, we're not big on giving advice.
No? Why not?
Well, I guess my attitude about advice is that there's good and bad advice, and there's no guarantee which one anybody's going to be giving at any given time. The other thing about too much advice giving in this business is that people don't necessarily own the advice that's being given to them. People need to come up with their own solutions. So what we hope happens in our groups is that people will feel safe. They'll feel that it's the kind of environment where they can feel free to open up to other people, where they're going to get some supportive, constructive feedback, and where they can create some relationships that they can take with them outside of group time that they can use when things get hot and heavy with the kids. It's not a counseling program per se, though the skills that we're asking of our volunteers are the same kinds of skills that counselors would use.
So say I was a parent in crisis and I went to your organization, what would be the first step? How would it proceed?
If somebody finds us on their own, and many people do, if they contact us at the office, we'll talk to them for a while. We'll get a sense of what's going on in their family. If we find that their needs are appropriate for our program, we'll just ask them for their first name and their phone number, and we'll have the local volunteer sponsors of the group in their area make initial contact with them. They can tell them when and where the group meets, get a sense of how they're feeling, get a sense of how uptight they are about the thought of coming out to a group. If necessary, they'll meet them in advance of the group. We'll provide them with transportation if we have to. And we just try to ease people in as easily as possible so that people who would otherwise be reluctant to seek the kind of help we provide can have an easier time getting into a program.
So you don't even have to give your real name?
Well, no, we'll deal with people on the basis of the name that they give us. We only ask for first names and phone numbers. We are an anonymous and confidential program, and our whole goal is to create as safe an environment as possible. It's pretty stigmatizing for a lot of people to feel like they're not the perfect parent. There's this value in this society that, you know, parenting is supposed to be easy, and that if you're not finding it easy, that there's something wrong with you, and that's obviously not the case at all, but it's hard to overcome that kind of barrier, and we just want to make it as easy as possible for people.
So you say that you provide transportation to, say, one of the group's meeting.
Yeah.
Do you provide child care too, or?
Yeah, in our groups that meet in the daytime, we have childcare on the premises. Most of our groups these days are meeting in the evenings, and what we do in those groups is we reimburse people for their babysitting costs. We just don't want there to be any barriers standing between somebody and the kind of help that they may be needing. So if somebody would otherwise be unable to get to us because of a childcare or transportation problem, we'll deal with that problem and we'll get them there.
So when was your organization formed?
Well, it was originally founded in 1974 by a bunch of parents and a couple of social workers, public health nurses, and the wife of a clergyman in Surrey. And they were responding to the Parents Anonymous program that had started in the States in the 60s. They got together and formed the first group, and you know, since that time we've become a province-wide organization, and we're currently running 30 groups.